Hello everyone, how's things? How are you? Okay, I've got something a little bit different tonight, and it's a response video to, there's a chap called Andy Edwards who posts quite regularly, and he mainly talks about like the sort of jazz rock fusion, idiom, progressive music, that kind of thing. From the sound of his accent, he sounds like he's not too far away. I mean, I'm Leicester, so he sounds more sort of West Midlands when you actually hear him speak. Anybody in America will think, is there a difference between an English accent? Anyway, I'm digressing a little bit. But it was, I think it was sometime, I think it was last week, he posted this video about, it was like, why do all guitarists, or why do all internet guitarists sound the same? Well, they don't. And because he started this with with this montage of these what he was calling bedroom guitarists who were just hunched over the guitar and doing the same old sweep and tapping licks and on to the next one. And superficially you think, yeah, there is a similarity, but then you actually realise when you actually, because like some of the the actual names of the guitarists were there as well, and then you realise that what he'd actually done, he'd quoted from a Jared Dines biggest shred collaboration in the world thing. Jared Dines, if you don't know, he's an American YouTuber, musician, primarily in the metal, sort of progressive metal. He's sort of in that area, and he does a lot of like sort of humorous things. He did the he tried to do like he did an online reality series last year called Musician's Mansion, and he was trying to, I think he's done another one this year as well, which is like, like a bunch of musicians in a house and they had to do various tasks, like writing songs or performing or whatever. But he's actually got like he's one of those YouTubers who's got like a huge following. So not surprisingly, if somebody like Jared Dines puts forward a competition and says shred collaboration, right, here's a backing track, or if you don't want to use the backing track, here's the chords. What I want you to do is, like, no longer than say a minute, is just play something over it, and if I like it, I'll put it in. I'll put it in the compilation, and it'll be seen by lots of people all around the world. And given that somebody like Jared Dines is getting like millions of views, then why wouldn't you want to put your playing in something like that? So then we start to question, because I actually found that video. It's the Shred Collaboration 5, and then I started to notice, well, it's not just all like the bedroom guitarists like doing all the tapping and the sweeping, because there's other people in there as well. There's a guy playing the lutes for a start. There's an acoustic player. There's a few bass players. There's some people who are playing like there's Gus G in there as well. Nita Strauss is on that one. Herman Lee's on that one. Now these aren't just bedroom. I mean, maybe they're playing the bedroom. Maybe they are bedroom guitarists at home when during downtime or whatever. But these people are out touring. So that's just not true. So then when you actually go down to what Andy edited in the video, you actually realise that it's sort of cut down. Oh, well, that sounds very similar to that, and that sounds very similar to that. And when I stick them together, if you didn't know the actual piece it came from, which isn't even named in that video, then you'd think, oh gosh, yes, they do sound the same, don't they? Because, well, but it's only because the backing track's there that he's sort of swaying your ear, so you're not paying close attention to what these guys are actually doing. Now, this is where I start getting a bit critical, and let's channel a bit of Carl Sagan here, that if you can pick and choose the results that you want, you can back up any hypothesis you like by saying, all YouTube guitarists sound the same. Well, here's my proof, because I've just picked, I've cherry picked the Guitarists, which proved my point, and I've discounted the rest, and there you go. But the whole thing, anyway, I mean, the whole thing about Internet Guitarists, because then it goes into like this project he's got, his band, Andy Edwards, his band. It does sound very good, although it sounds to me, the piece they played, it sounds a bit too much like picking up the pieces. It sounds a bit like it's that sort of style, like it's that sort of fusiony style. Even though like he's talking about how like his guitarist, is it somebody from Marchbank, that he was using guitar synths, because guitar synths have come a long way, and you can get realistic sax sounds now, so you can do things like what would happen if, say, John Coltrane played in Dream Theater or something like that. So you can do that, great. That's what he was doing. But to suddenly, like I say, if you're just cherry picking the ideas that you like and discounting the rest, then you can build your narrative however you want, and nobody can challenge you. As long as you're discounting all those other things which disprove your narrative or your hypothesis, the story you're spinning. But anyway, getting back, like the main point I want to make is that it's the internet. It's a great liberator for musicians. A lot of us, have day jobs. We have played in bands. Things like lockdown and availability of people who, want to play similar stuff. These things perhaps do limit you to getting out there and, like touring and whatever. And also things like downloads mean that, the old goal of getting getting the record contract and becoming a named musician by selling millions of records and getting on top of the pops and all that sort of thing. Those days are numbered. I mean, actually, maybe I don't know. Maybe that actual model is changing, but it's partly changing through things like the internet, because it allows you to become so individualistic. And for me, it's always been like an extension of things like the days when people used to post avidly on musicians forums. But there was one I used to post on. I don't know whether to name it or not, but it was by a big name band, and it was just had this like musician forum within the main band, and then you get some interesting discussions about people are into all sorts of stuff apart from this one band, and you get this cross proliferation of ideas. People talking about classical music, or people talking about jazz, or people talking about Pink Floyd, or this, and then you're not cherry picking in order to sort of confirm a hypothesis that everything sounds the same. No, but you're cherry picking ideas in order to be creative, and you're saying, right, well, what if we take this and we take that and we plug this together, then we make this, and we got something new. And so anyway, that was in the days of forums. The internet has extended that idea now, where you can look at a video and you can gain some ideas of it, or you can be critical of it. You can look at that and you say, well, I don't like that much. I would have done it this way, or well, I like that lick, but I don't care much for the tone he's got, or something, etc., etc. So I mean, in some of my other videos, I mean, I've paraphrased that, that I don't really want to talk about MGTOW, but paraphrasing that, not just men go their own way, but musicians go their own way as well. Because if you are a musician and you're tired of the same old hackneyed stuff, then now's the time where you can say, no, I'm not doing that. I'm doing something else. I'm going to play it this way. I might play a single. Well, it's not quite a single humbucker guitar, but I can get a range of of tones from this, and I mean, where are we? So I'll go from mild crunch to, and then of course, you know, it's great fun to do that. You know, it's great fun to do that. But if you're doing it at home, then, well, why not? You know. But the point being that there's a lot more freedom in music now. You know, and it shouldn't be about sort of, you know, like jazz musicians over here, rock musicians over here, and then even then within rock musicians you got like you got the indie crowd over there, you got the metal crowd over here, you've got somebody else over wherever, and rather than kind of, you know, like building up like a dialogue between all these different things, you know, it still seems to be, I don't know, still seems to be focusing on you know, like pigeonholing, and I think that's part of the issue as well. I mean, and then he's also talking about like you know, with those sort of shred players, talking about conformity. He's saying that, well, you see that video, therefore you have to play like this, you know, or like, you know, somebody who like is putting tapping or sweep picking on a pedestal as you know, as an ambition. Great. Well, and when you've done that, end up doing it all the time. But a seasoned musician will know when to scale back, you know, and will put much more of a range into what they are playing. This also comes in that Jared Dines video that he was quoting from, because if you actually listen, Jared Dines as well he's sort of cherry picked from much longer submissions that people have sent, just to get more people in the video, you know. And then if there is actually a limitation, then perhaps it's down to the chord progression that Jared Dines may, or somebody like that would have put out there in the first place. I mean, there's another one, you know, Bradley Hall does one called Pass the Pick, you know, where he'll give you like a guide track and say, right guys, come up with something to go over this, and then it starts with, you know, like you sort of like you pick, you know, taking an imaginary pick from the previous guy or whoever, playing your bit and then handing it on to the next one, and then, you know, they're all edited together, and then you get one of these big collaborations. But you know, so I mean, I'm trying not to repeat myself here, but I think you know, I think you're getting the idea that yeah, it's not about conformity. You know, it's sometimes, you know, if you understand that people are on different levels of playing. I mean, this is my 40th anniversary of playing the guitar now. So I'm going to be thinking differently than, say, somebody who's, you know, just starting, or somebody who's been playing like a couple of years, or, you know, so on. You know, quite often, you know, when I'm going up to like music shops, you know, say I'm in Guitar Birmingham on a Saturday. It was a bit quiet this week because the trains weren't that great, but you know, after the getting over the software malfunction, but more about that another time. But quite often, you know, on a Saturday, you know, you'll get people will go in there, and they'll be doing different things, and quite often you'll get a lot of young lads who will be going in there with their friends, and they'll, you know, obviously, you know, they're doing things like, oh yeah, yo, do you know the Master of Puppets? Yeah. Oh, do you know the Bohemian Rhapsody one? Yeah. Oh, do you know the, yeah, and then Sweet Child of Mine's another cliche. But these are the cliches. But then occasionally you'll get somebody going in there, like once there was like a lad playing the Beatles stuff, you know, or there's a guy there playing rockabilly, you know, big Brian Setzer type fan. Another guy doing you know, sort of more fusiony stuff, or a guy doing like note for note sort of Van Halen stuff, or you know, people would be fans of what they like to do, you know, and there's also channels, you know, like you know, this I think it's the Red Special I forget the exact name of it, but it's like, you know, fans of like, you know, like Brian May's Red Special guitar. So you get a lot of like sort of, you know, people trying to nail Brian May's tone and you know, things like that. But well, why not? You know, like I say, it's an individualistic thing. You know, you do what you want to do. You know, musicians go their own way. Remember that. You know, it's not about conformity. It might be about reaching a certain level. You may take lessons and the teacher will say, oh yeah, well this is a good thing to know, this is also a good thing to know. They'll give you the basic rudiments of stuff, you know, like the scales and certain techniques, but they're going to propel you a long way. But when you actually get more advanced, then you can start scaling back on that and rejecting things, you know, like saying, right, well I'm not going to do that because that's been done too much, you know, and then when you start looking into, you know, people like Alan Holdsworth, you know, that yes, they take a unique approach, but then, you know, if you take licks, you know, take Alan Holdsworth's stuff, rather than just doing it verbatim, it's when you start sort of like taking it, you know, in your own direction, you know, because there's an interview where Alan Holdsworth is, you know, he's talking about how he was in a band, you know, with another guitarist, and then they'd just be sort of just improvising chords over each other, you know. Like, I mean, that's, you know, just forgetting like the shreds part of it. The chords are an interesting thing about the playing, as you know. It's also, I suppose, it comes back into that, you know, these shred off collaborations. That if the actual chords which you're given are pretty flat, then everybody is going to sound flat. Whereas, say, you know, they'd actually thrown out some sort of quite spicy chords at you, then maybe you're going to have to think a bit more creatively, you know. So perhaps that's what's lacking. But anyway, I think I've rambled on long enough for tonight. So hope you made some sense of that. Please comment below with your thoughts, and I'll see you next time. All right, thanks for watching.